I had a patient walk into my office last month. 79 years old, retired military officer, sharp as a tack. He sat down, looked me right in the eye, and said, "Dr. Carter, I gave up on that part of my life years ago. My wife never said anything, but I can see it in her eyes." Gentlemen, that sentence broke my heart. Because what this man didn't know, what most men over 60 don't know, is that what he was experiencing wasn't a permanent condition. It was a fixable one. And the solution wasn't a pill, wasn't an injection, and wasn't an expensive procedure. It was something he could put in his morning tea starting tomorrow. If you've been quietly accepting a decline that you never had to accept, stay with me, because what I'm about to share will change the way you think about your body forever. I'm Dr. Emily Carter, a urologist with 12 years of experience helping men over 60 reclaim their vitality, strength, and confidence. I've worked with thousands of men who walked through my door convinced their best days were behind them and walked out with a completely different understanding of what their bodies are still capable of. The science of male vitality has advanced enormously, and most men are simply not being told what we now know. That changes today. Before we dive in, do me a quick favor. Hit that like button right now and drop a comment below telling me where you're watching from. It takes 2 seconds and it genuinely helps me reach more men who need this information. Now let's get into it. Here's what no one is talking about openly enough. Erectile function is not just about intimacy. It is one of the most reliable indicators of your overall cardiovascular health. When blood flow to that area becomes restricted, the same process is happening in your heart, your brain, and your kidneys. Doctors actually call it the canary in the coal mine. When circulation starts failing in one place, it's failing everywhere. The man who dismisses this as just getting older is missing a critical signal his body is sending him. Second, low nitric oxide, the molecule responsible for relaxing blood vessels and allowing blood to flow freely, doesn't just affect performance. It causes fatigue, brain fog, elevated blood pressure, and poor sleep. Most men are walking around in a state of chronic nitric oxide deficiency and have no idea. Third, the psychological weight of this issue is something most men carry completely alone. The shame, the silence, the way it affects how a man sees himself. I've watched it erode confidence, damage marriages, and isolate men from the people they love most. And none of it is necessary. Because the root cause, in most cases, is something we can address. The first thing I want you to add to your morning tea is L-citrulline powder. This amino acid is one of the most underrated compounds in men's health, and here's why it works so powerfully. Biologically, L-citrulline converts in the kidney into L-arginine, which then triggers your body to produce nitric oxide. Nitric oxide relaxes the smooth muscle lining of your blood vessels, allowing them to dilate and dramatically increase blood flow throughout the body, including the tissue that depends entirely on blood flow for function. Think of your arteries like a garden hose that's been kinked for years. L-citrulline starts slowly removing that kink. Emotionally, men who begin to feel circulation improve report something remarkable. Not just physical change, but a return of something they thought was gone. Confidence, energy, a sense of possibility. Practically, you want 3 to 6 grams of L-citrulline powder daily. It dissolves easily in warm water or tea, has no taste, and works best taken in the morning on an empty stomach or about an hour before any physical activity. Robert, 74, a retired schoolteacher from Ohio, told me he hadn't had a meaningful erection in 8 years. His exact words were, "Doctor, I stopped even thinking about it because hoping hurt too much." I started him on L-citrulline along with a few dietary changes. 6 weeks later, he came back for his follow-up and said, and I'm quoting him directly, "I feel like I got a decade back." That's not an exaggeration. That's what restoring blood flow does for a man. The second addition to your morning tea is pine bark extract, also known by the brand name pycnogenol. Now, this might sound unusual, but the research behind it is genuinely impressive. Biologically, pine bark extract is a powerful antioxidant that works synergistically with L-citrulline. Studies have shown that when these two compounds are combined, nitric oxide production increases significantly more than either one alone. Pine bark extract also reduces oxidative stress in the endothelial cells, the cells that line your blood vessels, which restores their ability to respond to signals and dilate properly. This is critical because oxidative damage to those cells is one of the primary reasons blood flow decreases with age. Emotionally, many men in their 60s and 70s have been told their condition is just aging. Pine bark extract is a direct counter to that narrative because it's actively repairing the cellular infrastructure that was degraded over time. Practically, 40 to 120 milligrams daily is the studied range. You can find it as a capsule that you simply open and dissolve into your tea, or in powder form. Take it the same time as your L-citrulline for maximum synergy. Quick pause before we continue, because I want to make sure you understand something important. None of what I'm sharing is about taking shortcuts or masking symptoms. What we're doing is addressing the actual biological mechanisms that have been compromised. This is root cause medicine. And number 4 on our list is the one that most men I see have never even considered, so stay with me. The third compound is ginger root, and I know what you're thinking. That's just a spice. But ginger's effect on male vascular health is something the research community has been quietly excited about for years. Biologically, the active compounds in ginger, primarily gingerols and shogalls, have been shown to inhibit an enzyme called PDE5. If that name sounds familiar, it's because that's the exact same enzyme that medications like sildenafil target. Ginger does this naturally with no prescription required and no side effects. It also has powerful anti-inflammatory properties that reduce the chronic low-grade inflammation that damages blood vessel walls over time. Emotionally, ginger is something a man can add to his life with complete dignity. It's food, it's medicine, it's tradition. There's no stigma, no pharmacy counter conversation, no awkward moment. Practically, a 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon of dried ginger powder in your morning tea, or a thumb-sized piece of fresh ginger steeped in hot water, gives you a therapeutic dose. Add a little raw honey and it becomes something you'll actually look forward to every morning. Thomas, 68, a contractor from Texas, came to me after his doctor had offered him a prescription he felt uncomfortable taking. He said, "I want to fix this, not just cover it up." We built him a morning protocol around the compounds I'm describing today. At his 3-month visit, he told me his energy had returned, his sleep had improved, and, with a grin, that his wife had noticed something was different. He said, "Doc, I feel like myself again, like the real me came back." That's the goal, gentlemen. Not a performance, a return. The fourth element, and this one surprises almost every man I tell it to, is a pinch of black pepper in your morning drink. Specifically, the compound piperine in black pepper increases the bioavailability of almost every other compound you're taking by up to 2,000%. Without it, much of what you consume passes through your system without being properly absorbed. With it, the L-citrulline, the pine bark extract, the ginger, all of it becomes dramatically more effective. Biologically, piperine inhibits certain digestive enzymes and intestinal transporters that would otherwise break down these compounds before they reach your bloodstream. It's like upgrading your body's absorption system. Practically, a small pinch, we're talking less than 1/8 of a teaspoon, is all you need. Don't overdo it and make sure you're comfortable with a slightly spicy morning drink. Some men add it to a smoothie instead if they prefer. Now let me tell you about the 5th and final element, which ties everything together. That is consistent daily use combined with nitric oxide-friendly foods throughout the day. The compounds we've discussed need a supportive dietary environment to work at their best. The foods that support nitric oxide production most powerfully are beetroot, dark leafy greens like spinach and arugula, pomegranate, and dark chocolate above 70% cacao. The foods that sabotage it, that actively destroy the endothelial cells you're trying to repair, are processed meats, fried foods, excessive alcohol, and high-sugar snacks. Every time you eat something from that second list, you're undoing the work your morning tea is doing. Think of it as building a fire in the morning and then deciding whether to add wood or pour water on it throughout the day. Here is your simple action plan. Step 1. Every morning, mix 3 to 6 grams of L-citrulline powder into a cup of warm water or tea. Step 2. Add 40 to 120 milligrams of pine bark extract. Open the capsule right into the cup. Step 3. Stir in a quarter teaspoon of dried ginger powder and a small pinch of black pepper. Step 4. Throughout the day, eat at least one nitric oxide supporting food, a handful of spinach, a glass of pomegranate juice, or a small piece of dark chocolate. Step 5. Commit to this protocol for a minimum of 6 weeks before you evaluate results. The body needs time to repair. That's it. 5 steps. Morning ritual. 6 weeks. That is all this takes. Gentlemen, if you've been frustrated, if you've felt embarrassed, if you've quietly grieved something you thought was permanently lost, I need you to hear this clearly. You are not broken. You are not failing. You are not too old. What you are is a man whose body has been working with insufficient support and whose biology is far more responsive to change than anyone has told you. I have watched men in their 70s and 80s reclaim vitality that their doctors had written off. The science supports it. The clinical evidence supports it. And most importantly, the men I've worked with, men just like you, have lived it. It is never too late to give your body what it needs. If this video helped you, please like it right now and share it with one man in your life who needs to hear this. A brother, a friend, a father, a colleague. Leave a comment below and tell me, which of these 5 elements are you going to start with tomorrow morning? I read every single comment. And subscribe to this channel if you want evidence-based, practical men's health content every week, because there is so much more I want to share with you. I'm Dr. Emily Carter, reminding you that after 50, vitality isn't lost. It's waiting to be awakened. Take care of yourself, gentlemen. I'll see you in the next one.